Hello, everyone. Welcome to ASL 2. I'm going to give the other students an opportunity to join us, the ones that haven't joined yet. So probably 4 minutes. So we'll start at 4:05. They'll probably get a notification from me through Canvas that we're going to be starting at 4:05. So we'll have some other people joining us, hopefully. I know some people just are like, oh my God, I'm joining. I can't miss this. And so they want to make sure to show up. So 3 or 4 minutes to go ahead and get some coffee at home, obviously. Not at Starbucks, that might be too far. It usually takes a while to drive all the way there and drive back. So stay home and make your own cup of coffee before we begin and save your money. Oh, I'm going to pause the recording for a few minutes and then we'll start and then I will restart. All right. Hello, everyone. Hold on 1 second. I need to pin. Okay. There we go. I'll have interpreter too. If you want, you can leave your camera on or not. It's up to you. If you have your screen that's completely black, make sure that you are paying attention and listening to the interpreter. And most importantly, welcome to ASL 2. I'm really excited to work with you all. I hope that you're excited as well. I'm sure some of you are, ready to take ASL 2, and some of you might feel a little bit nervous to start this semester because you don't know what to expect, especially with a different teacher. I think there are a variety of different names here that I don't recognize anyone. So you might be a new teacher for me. So I'm Joan O'Loughlin. My same name is Jay on the chest. I teach here in Palomar, and I've been teaching. This is my 5th year to be teaching here. I used to live in Hawaii, and I enjoy traveling the world. If you see my Instagram, I have a lot of world traveling journeys and those related posts. So you're probably maybe a little disoriented on what you think you should do. So for this specific course, this is a 100% online course. It's an asynchronous course as well, which means that you're required to watch my lecture videos. Everything is already uploaded in ASL. So what you should at your level, ASL 2, be able to understand because it's everything derived from ASL 1. If ASL 1, your teacher maybe used talking while they were signing SimCom. I'm not that teacher, so I don't do that. If you need to review any ASL 1 signs, we do have resources ready for you built into the class. One example of this is that you can view my ASL 1 lecture videos as well, or we have an ASL lab class, which is the physical location at San Marcos campus that you can go in and talk with a tutor. Or if you need other ASL resources on the online platforms, you can take the ASL supplemental lab course, and it's online with Professor LeQuay, who technically right now is our interpreter, but is also teaches the online lab class. So I encourage you to take advantage of all the resources we provide. For this class, it's very important that you communicate with me. Communication is something you need to practice. And for our structure of our class, you can see how I set it up and how there's weekly modules every time. And honestly, you should be okay following through. So far, I've noticed ASL 2 students, especially for those who only take ASL classes online, often, well, they either do sign, but they need to practice their receptive skills viewing the sign language. Maybe they have good receptive skills, but they're not as good with um, doing the signing. So either one of those they need to improve. Okay. But I will support you along the way with whatever you need. And we'll go ahead and go through the layout, what's on Canvas. And then before we start, I'm going to also go through the syllabus. Sorry. So this is where to find the syllabus. Okay. You can read through that yourself. And this is the schedule, the layout for the fall. I want to point out this part for week 7 and 8. It looks like it's a little more condensed. So if you feel like it's a lot of work, I can stretch out at that point. So far, other classes who have gone through the same, learning platform have had no problem. So depending on the unit, I can work with y'all. Just one second. Okay, I had to do some little logistics on the side here. I wanted to give both the interpreters co-host position so that they can independently pin whoever they wanted to, or move around who they needed so they can see people. Interpreters, we usually work together and they usually, switch every 15 to 20 minutes. Um, and the purpose of doing that is to give themselves a mental break. Because if you're continuously interpreting it from ASL to English, it's a very mentally taxing. Um, It's whenever, if you were to ask any questions, they would interpret it into ASL for me. But I am signing now, so that's why you're hearing spoken English. For ASL 2, in regards to grammar, there wasn't as much grammar in ASL 1. It was more general use. Well, if you need a review on your grammar, please look at Unit 1.3. The lecture video for that. It does have pretty much the whole basic grammar concepts in that unit. Okay. So that should help you for the rest of the semester in your ASL studies. I'm going to show the syllabus and then I'll go through the modules. And the modules are your home base, the home page where you will see all the schedule and what you should follow. Okay. Sorry, I need to back up. If there's any reason that you forgot a specific sign or vocabulary word, you like mom, you can click on the link and look up in the dictionary there and see what the signs are. There are some signs that or so excuse me, some words that have several signs for specific reasons. Maybe it has a different meaning based on the context, or it's a regional variation. I'll give you one example of this. For a tire, like the tire on your car, it does have a regional sign. Here in California, we sign tire like this. with your index out and going of the wheel. In the southern part of the United States, Alabama, Mississippi, and Texas, they sign it with the bent V on the chin. So it's important you're able to learn all of the variations, but most importantly is to know which one to use and when. So for the multiple means that many words for one thing, like, run, it depends on the sentence and the context you're using, such as if you have a running nose, you would sign it like this. Whereas if I'm running for office, I would probably sign it the other way, where it's like functioning, or it just depends on the context what you're using. We're going to go ahead and switch interpreters.
All right, so now you'll see the interpreter switched, and that's a classic example of what it would look like, interpreter switching. All right, so we're going to go ahead and begin, especially for those of you who are thinking about becoming an interpreter. Palomar College has an interpreting program here, a strong program. They've had that for a while now, and I guess the first year program this fall, there are a total of 27, 26, 27, 28 students. That's quite a bit. So if you're thinking about that, it's a great career option for you if you're considering that. So now, for those of you who are thinking about becoming perhaps teachers for deaf folks or working with deaf adults, like as a profession, for example, like counseling, becoming a psychologist or something like that, please, it's very important for you to have good understanding of ASL grammar to develop and also to develop your language skills, your signing skills, your receptive skills with the language. So we're going to have and move on. Oh, this is the dictionary that I was speaking of. Right here it says, what's the sign? So for example, we forgot the sign for mom. We type it in the search bar. This comes up. There are several variations, mom. Okay, so you'll see what that looks like. So you see mom, mother, mother, which is like this, and you saw this also. That's from Canada. That's the Canadian variation. If you noticed a sign seems off, perhaps, and if you're too afraid to ask or something, you can ask me where that's from. Okay, does that make sense? If you didn't realize, Canadians have two languages. They have ASL, which is used all over Canada, except, can you guess which region or which province of Canada they don't use ASL? They use other languages right here. Any volunteers? Any guesses? Terry, you have a guess? Yes, Quebec. Yep, Quebec. So they have their own Quebec Sign Language. Yeah, because Quebec itself is their primary language is French within that region. That's an example of a regional dialect or sign. So for example, if you wanted to review ASL 1, Unit 1.3, you could type that in to the search bar, and there you go. 5 of you. So that. Now, the modules, we'll go take a look at those. Please finish your enrollment here. That's what we're going to use, the curriculum for ASL 2, True Way ASL. Unit 6 is more about opinions, good times, emotions, etc. Unit 7 is focused on food. Unit 8 is focused on politics, various topics. You're going to learn how to use rhetorical questions in Unit 8. Unit 9, you're talking about your home. You're going to use a lot of classifiers. Unit 10 is a very dry, but it's very important, especially for those of you who are thinking about becoming interpreters or working with deaf people in the future. You know, if I don't know if you realize this, but every level has at least one dry unit in it. For example, ASL 1, 1 to 5. Unit 5, there was a lot of in-depth discussion in relation to scheduling or schedules, but it was still very important. Even though it was dry, it is still important content. So if you go through this, I encourage you to watch these videos here, snapshots. So for example, there's skill levels right here. When you watch snapshots, those videos, I encourage you to do this. First, watch it. Even if you don't understand everything they're signing, the point is to practice your receptive skill. You can watch it once or twice until you feel satisfied, and then you can watch it. You can see if it's in your preferred language, English or Spanish. I don't know if you have any other preferred languages, Portuguese, but you can copy that and translate it to another language if you'd like. This right down here, the transcript. Is that clear to you? Sometimes you'll see like some signs like this. They look terrible. Like in English, it means a negative thing, but in ASL, it can be both negative or positive. The sign is really from a cultural viewpoint or perspective. So it's important if you feel like that's odd, go ahead and ask these questions. English I'm familiar with, so I can kind of explain that to you, the difference between ASL and English. If you look at this, take a look at this. Down here's worksheets. These are due every week, and you can go step by step next week. Let's see. Um, so homework would be due every Monday evening, every Monday night. So I don't want you to do all your work during the weekend. I made him do on Monday instead of Sunday. Some of you do that. So this is just part of the game, the college game. Before you do all of your worksheets, please go ahead and open the PowerPoints right here. For example, these are ready for you. So you'll take a look at the PowerPoint, and then you'll go back. Yes, that is me in those videos. I've just went ahead and grew my hair long and my beard long for several reasons, but the original reason was I thought it would be cool to kind of start out with short hair in ASL 1 and teach. I look like I'm very young, and as time progresses on to ASL 4, I've got a full beard, my hair is long. just maybe to keep students' attention and stuff. But I watch too much Vikings movies and shows, so then my original reason has changed over time. So this fall, I'm going to record some ASL 3 videos. If you decide to take ASL 3 class with me in the spring, ASL 3 is generally we don't offer ASL classes online, not asynchronous, but we do have in-person courses live. Anyway, just a heads up, if you look at me and you go, who is this guy? I am the same person. So just follow the modules week by week. So just follow them as you go. When you get to the end of the unit, that technically is where it becomes more interesting. It does become a little bit more stressful, but there's a good reason for that. Okay. So above this, it's the same week by week. Below, it's workshops, worksheets, and then it's quizzes. There's a comprehension quiz, story comprehension. You have up to 2 attempts to take these quizzes. This is a SOAR project. Yes, it's for practice, but it's important for you to watch the videos and to see how the signers translate each sentence. So we'll take a look at one of these. Did you see that? So it's very important for you to pay attention to this guy, his facial grammar, his eyebrows are up. It means it's a question. Is it good? But really, for example, so if he asks, have you read this book? And how you translate it would be finish read book you. I would accept that. Instead of have, you would have to show past tense. If you translate that, I would accept it. But in general, you need to look how he is translating these sentences, how he's using facial grammar. That will guide you. That's your guideline to success. I apologize. I'm skipping around here. So part 2 of the SOAR assignment, you have to use this rubric to analyze your work and his work and make a comparison. Please don't be too hard on yourselves for this part of the assignment. So you see, you'll have to compare your work with his. What I would do is I will critique your sign. So for example, if you sign, let's just say you sign book, the sign for book is this. But if you sign it book like this, I will critique that because this actually just means to open the book. So in ASL, from the perspective in ASL, that's a verb. ASL is 70% verbs. If you use one movement. The other perspective is ASL, if you're trying to show a noun, It requires the multiple movement. So book is like this. So you kind of open it twice, and that means book. Chair, for example, is this. To sit is just one movement. Okay. Does that make sense to everybody? That's the feedback I will provide for you. Just try your best. So that was comprehension, and then you'll have a production that you need to complete, a production prompt. I don't want you to get worried. It is important for you to realize the production is similar to the SOAR project, but it's just a different wording. It is important for you to know the words, plus it's important for you to know how to translate from English to ASL. Okay, perfect.
Okay. Now, this is the part where it becomes more interesting is the unit projects. You will have 6 through 10, which means 5 projects throughout the semester. Here is the list of the instructions for the project. Each unit project requires your creativity, and it's important for you to meet all of the requirements for the project. If you do, then you'll be fine. If you don't, then that's where I'm going to take points off. So it's important that you follow the instructions and to make sure that your signs are clear. I don't care about speed as much, but I'm talking about clarity. That is the goal for ASL 2. If you decide to continue on to 3 or 4, of course, I'm going to push you to sign a little bit faster. But at this point, I want to emphasize the need for clarity. Um, and I want you to strengthen your knowledge. And that's what we're focusing on in this class. So those are unit projects. And since this is a completely online class, fully asynchronous, based on my experience and my observations from teaching other classes, and also ASL teachers usually just have a teacher to student correlation and but it seems to have a variety of students. This semester I've added an other interaction component will be peer-to-peer. So you will be sending videos and interacting with me as well as peer-to-peer. So I think it will be making a big difference in language development with your production and also comprehension, working with your peers. So you'll have to follow 2 more parts. One is called an interactive dialogue, which means you'll start with the initial video and the person will sign it, and then we'll ask a question, maybe 1 or 2 questions. And then the next person, I of course will start this. The next person is required to respond to my question and then add to it 1 or 2 other questions. And you can't copy the same question. You need to create a new question. And then the following person after that second person is going to respond to that one person and then make new questions up. And it's a good practice for you to have an actual conversation, but we're still doing it asynchronously. I will grade this by if you answer the question and if you made a comment about it and ask a different question. If you made any vocabulary mistakes, I won't take points off with it, but I will give you feedback on that. And so I want to encourage that type of dialogue. And I will show you where this takes place on our Canvas shell. Right here in the online interactive. And here's the interactive dialogue chain. I have the instructions right here. Does that make sense to everyone? Okay. And then there is one more. Zoom partners. That's where it also becomes more interesting. And I just realized I need to do this soon. Anyways, I will set up Zoom partners for you to work with another person for the next 6 weeks, meaning you'll be working together for unit 6 and 7, and then you'll have a different Zoom partner for another unit, another 6 weeks, probably continuing on. So we'll have 3 different Zoom partners throughout the semester. And now I will show you what that entails. Here is the description. Basically, well, from my perspective, in my eyes, to prove that you've watched the lecture videos. Plus, you will see all the lecture videos and in the lecture videos, they'll have vocabulary, grammar lessons, as well as, most importantly, they'll have dialogue lessons. Signing back and forth. So you'll see me signing to myself back and forth, showing the dialogue lesson following the script. Sometimes it's answering a question, sometimes it's just responding. So what you're going to do is going to pick a specific activity or script of any of those, and you're going to practice that with your Zoom partner, not speaking English, but just signing so that I can see the back and forth interaction between the two of you. And you do this by using Zoom, of course. Do record that and then upload your work. I've seen some people use FaceTime. You can do that, but if you try to upload it, it will take forever, so I don't encourage that. It would be very long and too long, so it won't be in your favor to do it using a FaceTime dialogue back and forth that way. So that's why I set up the Zoom so you can do it that one. 6.1 is here. And the other units are below, and you can see all the scripts, and you're just going to follow the script and record each one of those. And there's different scripts for you to use for each of the activities or dialogues. In my perfect world, I would encourage you all to do all of them listed here. It's better for you, and why not every week get together with a Zoom partner or something and, pick your best work at the end of the unit. By then, you will be signing a lot more, and it will be easier to do any of the activities. Another tip is that the more you invest in this ASL class, the more you will get out of it. Same as if you take a math class or any other class, the more you invest in the class, the more proficient you will become at it, especially if you want to become an interpreter or work in the field. If you invest now, then when you get to ASL 3, you'll become a lot more proficient and then do ASL 4. And then after that, you could join the interpreter training program. And you don't want to be playing the catch-up game later. So that's why I say invest now. It's worth the time now because you'll build those fundamentals and be ready for your next phase in your academic or careers. Okay, as you can see, here are the modules. Here are all the weeks that I've talked about. Okay. So, I will share my playlist for ASL 1 and that class so that if you need access to review any of the playlist I have going on, you can do that. I forgot to share with everyone. So after this before we get going. I will make sure to post that. And also before we get going, any questions from anyone? You can either turn on your mic and just ask the question, and we have the interpreters who will sign to me. Or other ways. Anybody have any questions?
I have a question. What
Mhm.
if we don't have the book yet?
Oh, okay. You just need to finish the enrollment, and I can show you where that is. So right here it says True Way enrollment. The second one that says Start Here, student enrollment, that's what you're going to be clicking on. And that should get you all the materials you need. Um, let's see here. Layla, do you have a question? You said yes in the chat.
Sorry, I don't have a question. It was um when you asked if I understood anything, like if we understood what was going on, I said yes. Sorry about
Oh,
that.
well, okay, okay. That's fine. Just checking in. Great. How's everyone feeling so far? How are you feeling about this class? Oh, by the way, if you do need any extensions, please let me know. Of course, don't take advantage of that and overdo it. But it's really important to communicate with me. Clay says you'll be a little nervous. Don't worry, you got it. We will have you'll have your Zoom partners to practice with, and for the rest of the semester, there'll be 3 different partners you'll be interacting with, and you can use different scripts to practice your expressive signing. And I also want to show you something else. Okay, so this is Unit 9. It's probably your most challenging one because with these scripts, they're going to be 2 different classifier prompts. So paper and then it running through fine and then it stops. You'll see the classifier. It's important that you watch the lecture video and I'll explain all of that. And then of course, any questions you have, let me know. You can mimic what I'm signing. Um, oh, Terry, you said that you're nervous because you went to a different school and your ASL 1 class wasn't pretty strong. Okay. Yeah. If you wanted to follow, you can for this first orientation time, you can use your voice if you have anything else you want to ask, or also if you want to schedule a meeting with me at another time. I would encourage you to try to sign, but do you have anything else you want to add now, or do you have a question? You said a different college?
Said which college?
You said which college? I
Las Positas.
oh, I don't know that one. Okay, that's totally
You're-
fine. Don't feel stressed though. You can review the lecture videos from ASL 1 as much as you can. And when you review, you'll see a variety of different scripts there throughout the lecture. And then with your Zoom partner, you can practice more. Practicing signing, even though you will probably feel like you might be doing a little catch up, it's still important for you to practice. I'm going to go ahead and make an announcement, and I'm going to type it out for you to locate potential Zoom partners with each other. I know I asked you to self-announce, if you are looking for a Zoom partner. Um, maybe if somebody needs to review and needs a little more practice, or somebody is really comfortable. So I'll have that. So if some students are also wanting to review together, that's a good opportunity to share with everybody else so that you can find the right partner with your Zoom partners. And also, I would encourage you to sign up for the ASL online supplemental class, the lab for ASL 2. They still have available slots, a couple seats left. For ASL 1, it's completely full, but for ASL 2, there's slots left if you need other supplemental information.
Okay, so are there any more questions? Okay, so if everybody's satisfied, are you ready to rock and roll? All right. For the rest of the semester, I will do periodic check-ins, see if you're doing okay. And I will share various events that are happening in North County, deaf events that you'll have opportunities to practice signing. I will post those. If you need one-on-one help, let me know. I'm here. I think I'm going to go ahead and close the recording.